Hello. Um, so first, thanks very much, SDF, for inviting me here. It's really good to be back in London. See a few familiar faces, and what I want to talk about with you guys today is I want to share the Bitstamp story, but then also I want to touch a little bit upon what are the things that we are doing together with Stellar, and then end up with one of my favorite topics in the space, and that's stablecoins. So we're going to talk about stablecoins as well. But first, the Bitstamp story. So I suppose, how many of you know Bitstamp? Does everyone know Bitstamp? So most of you know Bitstamp. So we are the oldest cryptocurrency exchange, founded back in 2011 in Slovenia. Now you can see that I've conveniently skipped, so since I've only joined in 2018, you can see I've conveniently skipped 5 years of our history. But those were really the I would say the grassroots years of Bitstamp, where 5 people, Nejc and Damian, the founders, were working out of a garage in Kranj, which is 4th biggest city in Slovenia. What's also conveniently omitted from this slide is that we got hacked back in 2015. Unfortunately, lost a bunch of money, and that's where also Dan Moorhead and Pantera, as one of the pioneers of the industry, stepped in and invested in Bitstamp, and Dan was a shareholder of Bitstamp, I think, until last year. But then, kind of in 2016 and mostly 2017, things got more interesting. Pardon. And we saw the first bull run, and we started doing cryptocurrency regulation before it was cool. And the way it really played out was that one of our founders basically did a roadshow across Europe. So there was the regulators didn't really know what Bitcoin was, what cryptocurrencies were, and there was no regulation whatsoever in Europe that would govern cryptocurrencies. So luckily, we found a friendly regulator in Luxembourg, and they gave us a PSP license, which we still hold to this day. And we're very proud of that. And we have a great relationship with the CSSF in Luxembourg. In 2018, the business got acquired by NXMH, where the founders, Nejc and Damian, stepped away, and we transitioned into the new ownership and also expanded our operations into New York and the broader US, where we hold money transmitter licenses and, of course, the New York BIT license with the New York DFS today. Now, 2022 until 2024 were I would say difficult years, or 2022 and 2023 specifically were quite demanding for Bitstamp. We exited the bull run of 2021, of course, having been very successful, but the market wasn't too kind to us, and we needed to kind of rethink how we approach the market and how we position business for the long term. So that's what we've done, and we've exited that period stronger than ever, with new product lines, with new business lines, and a lot of excitement for the future and for this market. And we are here for hopefully 10, 20, 30 more years. And I would say in 2024, most recently, I would say our efforts paid off, and we got, back in June, we announced the acquisition of Bitstamp by Robinhood Markets. So we're now in the process of closing that transaction, hopefully within the next 6 months or so. Now, if we look under the hood, what Bitstamp is today, and what are some of the business lines that we're working on. On the left-hand side, you can see approximately 500 employees today, mostly in Europe. Europe is our headquarters. We're headquartered out of Luxembourg. We're very proud to be working with many banks across the globe. We have over 20 banking partners today that enable seamless fiat transactions on and off the platform. So we support euros, we support US dollars, we support British pounds today. And we are looking to expand that suite of cryptocurrencies, the fiat currencies supported on platform, hopefully with Swiss francs to be added to platform soon. Assets under custody, just above 5 billion, and traded volume, 70 billion, and supported tokens, over 100 to date. So I actually have to stand up to see what's on here. But you can see our core business is, I would say, something that the crowd might be familiar with. So it's a centralized exchange, it's a centralized limit order book. That's our core business. But over the years, we've managed to expand this to also include things such as Bitstamp Connect, which is a connectivity for brokers. So basically, it's a single sign-on authentication that we can offer to different industry partners, so their customers can seamlessly integrate with Bitstamp and perform different actions, withdraw, deposit, trade, export data, and so on. Then we've got our Bitstamp Earn, which includes staking, but also now a decently sized lending product, which is now in the hundreds of millions of dollars in terms of total AUM. And something that we're also super excited about, we're starting to look into tokenization. So we're looking into, of course, first to offer tokenized money market funds on Bitstamp, but also coming next year, some other financial instruments as well. We are also very proud about our Bitstamp as a service business line. So effectively, when you think about Bitstamp as a service, you can think about different flavors of white label products, spanning from just provision of liquidity. We do this for the likes of Swissquote. And then it also goes into the full white label, meaning that customers of different financial institutions will onboard with Bitstamp, and we will do the KYC for them, and also, of course, accept their liquidity. We've recently announced a partnership here with Stripe. So with Stripe, we support their on and off ramping for cryptocurrencies in Europe. We have an exciting pipeline here, so definitely more to come, but it's something that we see as the future for Bitstamp. Also, there's an institutional business line, so we have an OTC product, and then a suite of kind of capital efficiency solutions for different types of institutions. So we've got post-trade settlements, we got a lending book, kind of I would say almost at this stage, a vanilla product in the marketplace. Some of the things that we are most excited about at the moment are cryptocurrency derivatives. We've announced this year that we are in the process of acquiring a MiFID license in Europe to launch fully regulated linear perpetual swaps first, followed by other derivatives products. And again, this is, I would say, almost, typical for Bitstamp. Again, we've taken the regulatory high road. We've again taken the difficult path here, because we probably could have gone offshore and got a license in 3 to 6 months, but we've chosen the difficult path. But we believe that that's the correct way to go about this market, and that we believe that that's our place in this marketplace, in the broader crypto exchange marketplace. What's worth also mentioning here that we get asked this question a lot is, how will Bitstamp look in the future with Robinhood coming into the mix? And of course, there are things we don't know today, but the simple, I would say, threefold thesis here is the institutional business. So Robinhood is a retail business today, exceptionally strong in the United States, and we are strong in Europe. And we are stronger, or we have, during all of our years, we've built strong institutional relationships across this industry. So that's one part of the thesis. The second one I've already touched upon, and that's Europe. So we have a strong European base, and Robinhood is already present in Europe today and wants to grow aggressively, not only in Europe, but also globally. And the third one being it's the derivatives exchange. That's where Robinhood is also looking to expand and grow their business. So that's Bitstamp today. And I want to just quickly maybe touch upon one point, which is, our mission is actually to be the most trusted gateway into crypto. And this slide I call Trust in Action. So you can see that we hold over 50 licenses around the globe. So we got full US licensing coverage. I've managed the PI license in Singapore. We're in the process of growing that PI license and evolving it to an in-money license. And then, of course, the MTF, multilateral trading facility and broker licensing that's going to be licensing out of Slovenia. We're also present in the United Kingdom, hold a bunch of VASP licenses, in licensing process with the MAS in Singapore, where we have gotten the approval from the MAS to incorporate there and get the license. But beyond that also, I think about a third of our team out of 500 is dedicated to legal, regulatory, and compliance matters. And this is growing by the day. It's really the complexity of our business over the last 3 years has grown immensely. The regulatory requirements are just, I would say, non-stop. There's an audit after an audit after an audit. But we're of course very pleased to welcome every regulator. There's really nothing that we wanna hide. We are an open book, very much. That's what we believe in. And of course, I think one thing that's not that I also like to mention is that we have been audited by a Big Four company since 2016, so 7 years in a row. So that's what I call trust in action. And now I would want to turn to our partnership with Stellar, which we're very excited about. And here are just some of the highlights. I think it's worth mentioning that Stellar was the 6th asset that we listed in our markets in 2020, and that tells a lot because why it's not really I'm not really proud to say that when we list tokens, we're a little bit slower than anyone else than others in the marketplace. So you look at Coinbase today, you look at Kraken, they would list approximately 250, 300 tokens. We only list 100, so we are a little bit more selective. So the fact that we moved early with Stellar tells a lot. That our regulatory and compliance departments have gotten the confidence and comfort to move forward and kind of choose Stellar as one of our first partners. It's something that tells a lot. And since the listing, we have traded approximately 7 billion in total trading volume. And it's the 15th most traded digital asset on Bitstamp. The bottom part of the slide is probably the evolution of our partnership with Stellar Development Foundation, and that's Stablecoins. That's where I wanna spend the rest of this presentation. We at Bitstamp believe that stablecoins are the future. I believe many in this room share the same belief. And therefore, we wanna be supportive of that space. Our current first thesis is that we wanna bring different fiat currencies on chain. Our first objective, is to bring and support all of the G10 currencies, all of the G10 stablecoins at Bitstamp, hopefully this year, but definitely in the near future. So when it comes to Stellar and support on the Stellar blockchain, today we support the stablecoins from the VNX family. We support USDC and EuroC is missing here, and we support the GMO stablecoin family on Bitstamp, on Stellar as well, and we are working to get to that G10 on Stellar in the near future. A few numbers. USDC on Stellar on Bitstamp has been very successful. We launched that product approximately a year ago, September 23. And in 2023, it was 13% of all of our USDC deposits and withdrawals by count. And in 2024, this number has grown to 24% of all USDC deposits and withdrawals on Bitstamp. Total transfer value is over 100 million. Now, of course, I have to say that how is this used? Still, the value, most of the value is moved on Ethereum and different chains, but where I think Stellar thrives is our small payments, our retail payments. And that's where this growth is coming from. Our individual customers, our retail customers are super happy to use reputable stablecoins on Stellar blockchain to move value around at low cost. And so this is a little something that we're also cooking. So for those of you who are interested to learn more about specific stablecoins that are supported on Stellar on Bitstamp, we are going to be in the near future, likely in the next month. We're going to launch a learn and earn campaign where individual investors are going to be able to learn more about different stablecoins that are available on Stellar and thereby also earn a little balance in those specific stablecoins. So we believe that this is, of course, a small step, but adoption in stablecoins doesn't only come from building infrastructure, doesn't only come from business adoption, it also comes from individuals learning about those products. Because it's very, very clear today that if you want to move value around globally, stablecoins are the most affordable rail. They suffer from of course, from some, I would say, there are still problems related to stablecoins that the industry is collectively solving, but the core proposition, which is it's the cheapest way to move value around globally, it's absolutely there, and it's really nothing that comes close. And then I've touched upon this topic, so I can kind of jump into a few challenges related to stablecoins today that are kind of close to my heart. So the market is, the stablecoin market, I don't know how familiar you are with it, but currently it sits about 160 billion total AUM out of all stablecoins, dominated by USDC and USDT, so Tether and Circle. But, so, you know, if you look at it from afar, it looks boring. It looks like, you know, nothing has changed for the last 5 years. We had kind of the same, you know, market powers, you know, dominating this market. No one has been able to move a lot. You know, of course, there are projects that are starting to work, starting to become successful, but I think the helicopter view is still very much similar to what it was maybe 3 years ago. However, there's a ton that is happening under the hood that I wanna talk about as well. But the question is really, you know, why is it that the marketplace hasn't shifted a lot? Why is it that it's only, you know, USDC and USDT that have been able to reach scale? In our belief, at Bitstamp believes, is really that it boils down in large part to the user experiences. The stablecoin use case, we like it or not today, it's still dominated by being an exchange settlement asset. So if you're a settlement asset on Binance or Bybit, that basically almost guarantees your success and substantial adoption. And then the second vector of adoption and demand would be the DeFi space. So being able to quickly onboard into some of the larger blockchains. But beyond that, all of the use cases and user experiences are relatively nascent. And that's where businesses are starting to currently innovate, and we're seeing a lot of activity. But in order to be successful, we will have to move away from this, you know, targeting, you know, the kind of the main prize being an exchange settlement asset. Basically, the industry needs to move away from here, basically, to not make stablecoin the product, rather to make the utility that stablecoin brings the product. So all of the payment services and all of the on-ramps and off-ramps must become the product, where stablecoin is more a vehicle than the product. Second part, the interoperability. So this is also from Bitstamp's vantage point. It's a tough one to crack. And all of the layer 1 protocols and layer 2 protocols that are currently building and launching are not making this job any easier. So if you think about it, you know, as an exchange or let's say as a stablecoin project or as a merchant, you have 5 stablecoins, for example, that you want to support, but you also have 5 blockchains that those stablecoins are launched on. So how many combinations do we get that we would want to support in the near future in order to be able to service all of that demand? And you can see that, you know, layer 1s, layer 2s, they're launching basically like, you know, like mushrooms. They're everywhere. So the industry will need to systematically solve for this interoperability. And I think that the current approaches are good, but there is still, you know, a lot is left kind of to be desired. You've got projects like Axelar, you've got Layer 0 in the DeFi space. You've got great businesses such as Bridge that are trying to solve for interoperability on the centralized side of things, but it's early stage. And this is going to be the key piece that is going to enable further adoption of stablecoins globally. I've touched upon the kind of the stablecoin should not be the product. The product should be all of the utility that's built around the stablecoin. That's really the product. So what we oftentimes still see in this marketplace is projects are launching, but the objectives is still very much to be this exchange settlement asset, rather to think about you know, how do we build on-ramps, how do we build off-ramps, how do we build the interoperability and connect that together into a product. So Circle is, of course, being the leader here in the space is probably the one that's innovating in the space the most. But you know, it's again, this is something to think about as new projects enter the market. And then last but not least, regulation. There is currently, we do not currently in the main jurisdictions globally have central bank stablecoin regulation. This is something that this space is still missing. So this is something that we are eagerly looking towards. So 2025 hopefully is going to be the year when we get global central bank, we have global central banks regulating stablecoins. And that's where the real unlock happens in our view in relation to stablecoins. And then the forward view, it's not all gloomy. It's really, I think it's actually stablecoins are one of the most exciting areas of our industry today. And there's a lot to be excited about. It's 160 billion today. Our belief is this is going to be in trillions in the very near future. Stablecoins are going to move beyond being the crypto's killer use case. They're going to become finance's killer use case. This is not only crypto, this is literally finance moving onto the blockchain rails. A lot is going to be solved with the resolution of the bottlenecks that we've discussed in that last slide. As a kind of more philosophical question is, of course, it remains is how will stablecoins blend with potential introduction of central bank digital currencies? This is maybe more of a discussion over a beer and not really for now, but it's definitely one interesting area to think about. At Bitstamp, we believe that it's going to be a multi-money world, meaning that the marketplace is so large that there are going to be many private monies that will successfully coexist in the future, of course, regulated by central banks. They're going to be focused on different regions. They're going to be focused on different use cases. But most importantly, they're going to be interoperable. And that's something we've also spoken about. On-chain FX is something that we're also super excited about. It's approximately 7.5 trillion of daily flows. And it is starting to move towards the blockchain because it's very natural. Again, capital will take the path of least resistance, and this is not an exception. I believe today we have approximately 100 million monthly on-chain transactions in stablecoins. And if you look at the charts, it's a growth story for all the obvious reasons. And FX, of course, it's a very natural space again to start. It's reg light, it's cross-border, it's fragmented, it's decentralized. So it kind of really fits the description. And then an unpopular opinion to wrap up, that it's not all going to be about DeFi. It's certainly going to be a blend of CeFi and DeFi as we move into the future. DeFi is great. It provides superior efficiency. It removes the friction away. But a lot of people around the globe will remain concerned. Where does the capital sit? How can I control the capital? And these are the things that the regulators are going to be interested in. And these are the things that are very much going to remain, except if we move into something that's a very utopian future. But let's leave that for another day. So with Bitstamp, we hope to be part of this marketplace for many years to come. And thank you very much for listening in.